It's time once again for another thrilling episode of Markout Radio. For the next hour, sit back, pull the stick out of your ass, and enjoy. Be warned though, smarks and internet know-it-alls will be offended, annoyed, and generally pissed off at what's about to happen to your ear holes. You've been warned. Now, Markout Radio.
That's right. Welcome to Markout Radio Goes Nitro, episode 39. And this ongoing thrilling series recapping WCW Monday Nitro's rise and fall. We're on June 10, 1996, out of the Wheeling Civic Center in Wheeling, West Virginia. Hosted, of course, as usual, Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Larry Zbyszko, and Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone and Larry Zbyszko, of course, taking hour one, with the much bigger production being handled by Eric Bischoff and Bobby Heenan with the shittier commentary. That's always good. And here we are again. A series of poorly booked Nitros puts Raw into the number one spot with a 2.7 in the ratings to Nitro's 2.6. Attendance is showing this as well, since again, without firm numbers of paid attendees, we only know that 3,500 people were in attendance. That feels like a rounding, which isn't even close, by the way, to a sellout. This venue has a capacity of 5,400 for hockey, and you can't sell any ice. I'm sure somehow this is Hogan's fault, and Sullivan was doing the best that he could with what he had, or at least I'm sure his latest shoot interview will like that. Incidentally, I was watching the Dark Side of the Ring on Vice and noted that Sullivan was conspicuous in his absence from those interviewed in the Benoit two-parter series. This week, though, the producers of the show were interviewed, and they didn't want the controversy of interviewing a dead man's wife on their show. Because, you know, that whole two-part episode wasn't controversial at all. Jesus Christ. Anyways, back to 1996. This is the go-home Nitro for the Great American Bash, not to be confused with the other bash, the Bash of the Beach. How many bashes do we need, and do they need to be back-to-back? Anyways, let's see how this episode of Nitro plays out. Again, Schiavone looks and sounds like he took a bump before he went on the air. Despite this, I still love how these two set up a show. And only Ventura gives Zbyszko a run for his money as a heel commentator, in my opinion. Now, we're going to throw out a recap of the invasion that we're not going to talk about. Well, Eric's not going to talk about it. Well, I mean, until he wets himself, but that comes later. Let's kick off the show, though. First match of the night, Scotty Steiner defeats Booker T in 5 minutes 54 seconds. I gave this match 4 out of 5. Two guys looking to break loose from their longtime tag team partners. For the most part, the announcers kept on match, meaning the match was actually entertaining, that actual wrestling commentators discussed the wrestling match going on in the ring. I know, crazy, right? Zbyszko has made no secret over the years of hating when football players come in to wrestle with little or no training for an attraction match. And he doesn't at all try to hide this all night long. And listen, obviously this is one of the reasons I mark out for Larry the Legend. The end of the match, we get a Pep Boys Power Pit of the Week replay. And overall, it's a pretty clean and well-performed match. Nothing really sticks out here as being stiff or crazy or over the top. It was just a really well-performed match. Told the story it was supposed to tell and kept even the commentators interested in it. I mean, what the fuck else do you want? There's some teasers for upcoming matches tonight to give Scotty a chance to catch his breath for a Mean Gene rant promo. Gets interrupted by Deborah McMichael, who is worried about this Sunday and her husband. But not for the reason you might think. She's worried that he's going to hurt somebody. Wow. That's special.
All right.
So, anyways, apparently Mongo was infuriated, according to Mean Gene, with Flair for making eyes at his wife. Thank God Gene's there, because Deborah sounds like a real housewife. And to end, Gene tells Deborah that she looks hot, because somehow that's different than what Flair's been doing over the last how many fucking weeks. Anyways, after this, we get another singles match. DDP defeats Jim Powers in 4 minutes 4 seconds. I gave this one 3 out of 5. Powers' music gets turned up to fucking 11, and we can hardly hear the announcers over it anymore. I don't know who was in charge of the fucking switchboard backstage. Powers has a pretty good career to this point. He's just joined WCW, will remain for only the next couple of years, and later on in 2016, He was named in a class action lawsuit against the WWE with a bunch of other wrestlers who alleged that they suffered traumatic brain injuries while working for the WWE. Now, he worked for the WWE for about 7 years in the late 80s, early 90s. Overall, it's a decent match. Basically, the whole point of this match is to put DDP over, but DDP didn't try to make Powers look like shit in order to get over. So, props to DDP on that one. After this, we get a Sullivan-Benoit Heat promo. Okay. I know some of you are uncomfortable with my unrequited hatred of Kevin Sullivan. So, if that's the case, skip the email this week. I get it. You don't like that I don't like this guy. That's okay. We don't all have to fucking agree. But watch this fucking promo again. And watch it without your internal bias. Like, I know Benoit's a piece of shit who allegedly killed his whole family. All right, I get that. I'm not trying to make excuses for Benoit. I'm burying Sullivan. There's a difference. I can bury one guy and still not like the other one personally. All right, now, it's clear that Sullivan oversaw the production of this package from start to finish. I mean, I know the guy's been promoting for years at this point and would promote for years after this, but the inmates are really already running the asylum. Bischoff is so fixated on Hogan and the NWO, he's just letting this crap get on the air. The problem here is that according to Sullivan and the cops, Benoit wasn't moving in on Nancy for another 18 months. But just look at how the production was done on this feud. It's a fucking shoot. It's the whole point of this is to make Sullivan look like the beleaguered booker trying to get these young punks into line. I mean, so much for fucking protecting the industry. He stopped just short of using kayfabe words. It's a fucking sacrilege. It's gross. I understand that part of wrestling is also putting yourself over, but holy fucking hell. After this, we get another promo. Oh, God. So there's an up next promo leading into the commercial break showing Conan and Psychosis in a match. The idea here is that we're going to get Conan and Psychosis in a match, so I'm all excited. Instead, what we get is a retrospective, high-speed promo reel of Hogan's run as the U.S. champ. And it's really not awesome. It's supposed to be a promo reel, but it's 3 botched moves made it into his promo reel, and 2 straight-up fuck-ups made their way into the promo reel from entrances. Not even matches, just the fucking entrance. Anyways, after this, we get a Gene Conan promo backstage. Half of it is in Espanol, promoting his match this Sunday with all of the excitability of a substitute teacher giving a pop quiz. And he'll be facing El Gato, who is being billed as a huge wrestler from South America, where he's never wrestled. El Gato is Pat Tanaka. You know, if you watched wrestling back in the 80s and early 90s, you're familiar with Mr. Fuji's original tag team. Pat Tanaka was arguably one of the best wrestlers on that tag team. Now, he started off in New Japan. He was trained in a traditional New Japan dojo. He moved on to Continental with Lawler and Jerry Jarrett, then the AWA, and then he became Tanaka, or Pat Tanaka, in the WWF. He spent a year or so in ECW in around 94 before WCW picked him up and had him mostly wrestling as Tanaka. Now, from 96 to 98, though, they put a mask on him and billed him from South America as El Gato. Now, these days, he's the owner of Tanaka Productions in North Dakota, and he trains wrestlers. He's got a great reputation for working with new wrestlers and helping polish established names. So if you live in this general area, because I'm in this general area as well, and you need to be trained or want to be trained as a wrestler or want to polish up your wrestling chops, some of you know who I'm pointing at. He's well regarded in the industry as a guy that knows what the fuck he's doing. Now, we all know at this point what this match at the Great American Match is about. It's put over Conan. And there's nothing wrong with that. And frankly, I'm looking forward to it because Conan usually stiffs jobbers that they put him in matches with. So I'd love to see him take legit shoot moves put on him by Tanaka. Now, I don't know why I don't like Conan so much. He just strikes me as an arrogant asshat. And nothing I've seen in the years that he's been in the industry has convinced me otherwise. Maybe someone can link me something where he's not being an insufferable douchebag. That would be great. It'd be nice to not have an unrequited hatred of somebody that I don't even know in real life. Anyways, Sting defeats Meng in the next match in 3 minutes 9 seconds. I give that 2.5 out of 5. Again, Larry Zbyszko cannot get off of Mongo. I wonder if WCW production monkeys were in the announcer's ears shouting instructions at him, because that would actually, now that I think of it, that did piss me off, because I did do some play-by-play, and it was in front of an open door in the middle of a fucking Canadian winter, and I was in a fucking short-sleeve shirt by request. So I was fucking freezing my balls off and kept trying to get my jacket up around my arms, but still underneath the table to just fucking stop shivering. The footage is great. It's in SD. It's not even in HD. The footage is in SD, and you can tell by my chest that I'm fucking cold. Anyways, onto this thing. The match itself was fucky, and it was really weird, and there was a weird fucking end to it where Meng gets dropped on the top on the top rope to get hung up with the ball shot. And then Sting throws a Scorpion Deathlock on him that I guess worked. I don't know. It was the shittiest, sloppiest looking Deathlock I've ever seen from Sting. Anyways, after that, we get a commercial break with more of these coming up later teaser promos, which is good. I don't mind these, actually. WCW's been using these all along. It's just that they never made it onto the network before. Now I'm seeing more and more of them on the network, almost as though they put interns in charge of copying over WCW tapes, and they've left more in than they probably should have. I noticed that the 1-900 number got clipped out of most of this stuff, so maybe they got sent there with a message. Anyways, after this, we get a Deborah, Brain, and Gene promo backstage. Deborah's been talking to Flair all week, according to Brain. Now he'll take her into the locker room where Flair and the girls get to assault her. So, for some unknown reason, though, Flair and Anderson's opponents, Joe Gomez and Renegade from later, are walking by the Horseman's locker room, and as Deborah's running away, they get in the way and catch a beating. Gomez ostensibly gets blindsided by Anderson and then just lies there on his face. Renegade gets worked over with a figure four, and Anderson stomping on his knee and quote-unquote injuring him and making the match unable to happen later tonight. Because Flair and Anderson and Joe Gomez and Renegade was actually going to be your main event tonight. Right. Okay. Anyways, after this, we get a Malenko Mysterio highlight reel to promote their match at the Bash. At least they're using the Go Home Nitro to promote the pay-per-view, just in a really half-assed way with promo packages. The package itself was either put together by an intern or just somebody who cared as much about this match as the bookers did. There is a 2 weeks ago Nitro scroll for some footage that's going on in this promo, and it makes a way onto AAA footage. Even to a casual viewer, it's blind. It's blatantly obvious and terrible. It's just sloppy editing and a shitty music score that sounds like some teenager rocking out on a guitar after breaking up with his girlfriend. After this, we get a Gene Bubba Hart promo package. Rogers is cutting yet another handful of hair and then playing with scissors. Got a commercial break after that, followed by the Gene Norton promo, recapping last week's squash match. But Norton ain't scared, and we're just eating some time. Norton's promo was followed by some posing in the ring, and then the announcers running their mouths for a bit so that the intro for the second hour of Nitro can start better with a huge fireworks show at the entrance ramp. So at least we're learning from our mistakes. That's always good, I guess. Anyways, this leads into the match with the Giant defeating Scott Norton in 1 minute 42 seconds. I gave it 1.5 out of 5. Norton eats a chokeslam into the crash mats at ringside and then gets pinned while Giant's legs are underneath the ropes. Johnny on the spot. Nick Patrick's there, of course. Post-match, Luger runs in and pisses off the Giant on the Go Home Nitro. Actually, this is done smart. I wonder why. Oh, look. There's Sullivan. Just has to ham it up for the fucking camera. And they call Heenan a fucking weasel. Luger cuts a promo from the announce position while Giant runs to the back looking for Luger. Fuck's sakes. Anyways, a decent promo. After this, we get a Lord Steven Regal with Jeeves defeating Billy Kidman in 57 seconds. That's right. 57 seconds for Billy Kidman's first Nitro appearance. I mean, I don't know about you, but I would be proud, especially when I spend the first 2.5 minutes of the match jaw-jacking with some fucking Mark kids at ringside. Honestly, I know that he gets better as he grows up in the industry, but holy fuck. He gets a small flurry of offense in there, but Regal got out of the way of some flippy-dippy bullshit and puts a modified crab on Kidman where he stands on the back of his head while he's got his legs up in a Boston Crab type situation. Post-match, Sting runs in and slaps the taste out of Regal's mouth, who sold wobbly legs going into break. I gave the match 2.5 out of 5, mostly because I understand. I like Kidman. I do. I just feel bad that essentially he was jobbed out to the Regal Sting feud for the pay-per-view coming up. I know that's part of wrestling. It's fine. I just feel bad for the guy, you know? Your first Nitro, you don't want to go out there and job. But 57 seconds, holy fucking hell. Jesus. They could have given him more time. By the way, they could have taken away a full fucking 10 minutes from the next match to have Regal and Kidman go longer. Because holy fuck. After Sting slaps the taste out of Regal's mouth, we get a commercial break with the Nasty Boys teaser promo. Back from break, we get Public Enemy defeating the Nasty Boys via DQ in 11 minutes 30 seconds. Public Enemy jumped the gun on their music and should have gotten some heat on the Nasty Boys, but of course, the Nasty Boys wouldn't put that over. They just fought back, which was awesome. Grunge is wrestling with a broken arm or hand. We're not sure which, because Eric's not sure which. He hasn't made up his mind yet. And, of course, Brain's not helping at all because he's not even talking about this match because Brain hates fucking hardcore wrestling. Essentially, the Nasty Boys no-sold the flying fuck out of this. And, essentially, they were told to put the Public Enemy over and didn't want to. So, the only good thing I can say about what happened in this match was that at least they left his fucking injured arm, hand, whatever, alone. We got a commercial break during this match for the Glacier Hacker promo. God, I fucking wish. I really do. I wish that I didn't mark out for this shit like a fucking knob. Who knew he was going to fucking suck, right? Brain can't even be bothered to talk about the match going on. I really can't blame him. There's 4 blown up fat asses in the ring having the longest match on the card so far. So that's awesome.
Boy, the next word that comes out of your mouth better be some brilliant fucking Mark Twain shit, because it's definitely getting chiseled on your tombstone.
All right, then. Hogan promo.
Hogan hour sucked.
Fucking Hogan promo. Just to remind you that WCW is paying him ass loads of money to not be there for the last, what is it now, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? That's always awesome. After this, we get a Mongo Green Savage training montage to the music of the Southern Benny Hill film. I guess this serves as a promo for the Great American Bash. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure it really hit the mark, if I'm honest with you, and I like Savage. After that, you get a WCW World Tag Team title match with Luger and Sting defeating Arn Anderson and Ric Flair with, of course, Miss Elizabeth and Woman via DQ. In 18 minutes, 34 seconds, that one I gave 3 out of 5. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you what my score was for the Johnny Grunge Nasty Boys match, didn't I? Can you guess at this point?
0.0.
Anyways, back to the World Tag Team title match. Decent match overall. The announcers were really struggling to call the action and make sense during this match. I don't know if they were tired or what the fuck was going on, but Heenan was blathering nonsense and Bischoff wasn't putting it over. It was a fucking clusterfuck is what it was. During the match, we get a commercial break with a WCW magazine promo. I noticed after the break, the only time Liz actually moved the whole match was when Luger was in the ring, which I'm sure were her ovaries squirming. And then, of course, when the Giant was coming down to ringside. And she motioned to the Giant coming down to ringside when he was at the goddamn entrance. Like, not even when he was in eyesight of the people that are supposed to be watching the match going on in the ring. Let the fucking marks on the way down to the ring do their thing. Don't sell it for the camera until the Giant's about to enter, because she's pointing over at the ramp and I'm waiting. Oh, the Giant. Oh, okay. It's fucking ridiculous. And listen, it's not her first fucking rodeo. I guess maybe she was distracted. Couldn't imagine why. There's a DQ called as Luger hits the Giant trying to get into the ring. I'm not quite sure that's how the rules work, but whatever. Giant eats 3 chair shots from fucking wooden chairs, and one of them legit took him in the nose and chin. I kind of cringed a little bit. Post-match, there's a promo with Gene and the Giant, and that promo, by the way, is how you sell a fucking pay-per-view. Even though we all know it's not going to be the main event. After all that schmoz is handled, the announcers wrap up the show, and Bischoff kept looking off camera to signal the Outsiders' entrance as Brain was ranting and raving about his job working in Flair and Anderson's corner against Machos. Anyways, Eric announces that he'll book a match for the Outsiders. Of course, they don't have a name yet. We don't even know what their names are because, of course, no one's divulged that it's Scott Hall and Kevin Nash even. They just vaguely recognize one as Razor Ramon and the other one they vaguely recognize as Diesel. Maybe if you're a WCW fan, you recognize like Diesel as like, what was he, Vinny Vegas? Anyways. Fade to black on the Outsiders working the crowd. Pretty decent way to end Nitro. The promise of Eric getting the match, the Great American Bash, I guess is supposed to make you want to watch it, but that's one match out of the whole fucking card, and all night, most of the builds for the pay-per-view have been promo packages, not matches actually going on tonight in the card, which, I mean, it's fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just, I don't know, man. It felt like a really lackluster way to promote the pay-per-view, and I got to be honest with you. Despite the fact that it's a lackluster sell for the pay-per-view does reasonably well. It's going to be at the Baltimore Arena, of course, in Baltimore, Maryland. 9,000 in attendance, 7,323 actually paid to be there. The gate is $123,406 with 120,000 pay-per-view buys. Really, really good numbers for not just wrestling in general, but for the WCW. They get better, obviously, when the Outsiders have like an actual match when it's, the three of them versus three from WCW in a couple of months. But overall, the pay-per-view itself does well. For a mid-90s pay-per-view, it does very well. As far as getting money in the bank, having pay-per-view buys. Don't forget, out of those 120,000 pay-per-view buys, those are probably about $45 to $50 a pop. So a decent amount of change. That being said, it's still feeling like a slow simmering build. And post-Bash, we're going to get a bunch of Disney MGM Studio Nitros, which is going to suck because attendance is going to drop down to between 450 and 600 people, and no one's going to pay to be there. And I know the whole point of that is to help do all the awesomeness that is going to happen at WCW Hog Wild, where, again, no one is going to fucking pay to be there. But I'm jumping ahead. Overall, Nitro did reasonably well. I mean, granted, some of the matches were bombs, but that being said, overall, the show was good. And, of course, the wrap-up on it was also good, objectively. The introduction, of course, of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to all this mix is also good. It's about to get better. But it feels like a very slow burn, which is actually okay, considering the fucking travesty that's being booked currently. So, that's going to be it for me this week. I'm out of here. Don't forget, in a couple of weeks, what do I have for the announcement here? I got to look it up here. Give me just a second here. I think it's July 16th. I got to look it up. I'm going to have, my kids never watch 90s wrestling with me. She's 9. Which, listen, if you think I like the sound of my voice, holy shit. I passed it on and she's got no filters. Yes, this is filtered. Now, that's going to be July 12th. We're going to watch Bash at the Beach with the official introduction of the NWO, and spoiler alert, just start humming a tune into your ears for a second, when Hogan turns heel. Now, here's the thing. My daughter knows Hogan as being the John Cena of the 80s. She understands. The funny thing is that because she's got me as a dad, she didn't like John Cena, and yet she does like Hogan. She knows who Hogan is. She knows the pose. She knows the prayers. She knows the vitamins. She knows the 24-inch pythons. She knows all that shit, okay? So I'm actually kind of curious to see what's going to happen when she sees Hogan turn, because when Bayley turned heel, she straight up cried. So I'm curious to see what, like, she was so mad. She was crying in anger. So I would like to see what happens. I know that sounds like I'm a horrible parent. I can live with that. All right. Now, mark your calendars, July 12th. What I got, 2 p.m., which I guess is my time. I guess it'd be 4 p.m. Eastern, if that helps you guys. Yeah, tune in. Not to hear a kid cry, but to hear a kid scream. I have to put her limiter on because I do have a limiter on my fucking mixer. I swear to God, I will hook her up to the limiter on the mixer so that she doesn't blow out your eardrums. But that to me sounds like pure gold.
Well, that was an abortion of a show. Should the mood take you, check out markoutradio.com and leave a comment. You can also find links there to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Stitcher channels. You can even leave a voicemail on our Skype. Just click the links and share them.